Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And it seems Shona Robison has folded. She's given in. She's found a magic £62 million down the back of the sofa, and so she can raise the amount of money she's given to councils across Scotland by that amount. And that is in order to try and stave off any kind of council tax rise. Where's she got the money from? She apparently didn't have a penny just the other day. There was no more money. And yet now there magically is. I'm sure people will be really glad that this is the case. It just means that they're guaranteed an extra rise next year in council tax. So a big jump next year rather than a little jump this year and a little jump next year. One huge jump next year. And I'm sure all those people in the big houses are very glad too. It's a lot of money saved for them because obviously they're paying far more in council tax. And if that's frozen, then they're quids in, aren't they? Marvellous. But you have to wonder, if this 62 million was just sitting around with nothing to do, why? Where did it come from? It must have come out of someone else's budget. Health, was it? Or maybe it came out of education. You can guarantee with all the money you've got in your pocket, it will never have come out of the independence budget. No siree, Bob. Well, let's have a look, see what she's doing and see if this will make any difference at all to the councils that were already thinking of raising their tax. Here goes. So, SNP government to provide £62 million extra to councils to end the tax freeze standoff. There were several, including Argyll and Bute. They were looking at putting it up because they needed more money. The money that she was offering was just not enough. And she didn't have any more money, she said. I've got no more money. Well, there you go. You've got to think, if she's got no more money, and she kept telling people she's got no more money, where did she get this money from? Was it being salted away? Was it going into the fund for when they lose power? They all have to fly off and live in non-extradition treaty countries. Is that where it's going? Deputy First Minister Shona Robison made the offer at a meeting with COSLA. COSLA are really not happy with them, of course. They broke the Verity House agreement, and COSLA were, saying, well, it's pointless. We can't trust you. You break your word. We don't believe anything. Show us the money. And they had to show the money. They had to give in because they knew if they didn't, councils would have put the tax up. And that would have made the glorious leader look like a failure. Go figure. So there she is. That, you look at that face. There's nothing going on behind those eyes, is there? That's a woman out of her depth. She has not got a clue. She's sitting there and she's nodding salient points. Oh, yes. And inside she's going, I don't know what that means. Anyway, Scottish ministers have coughed up extra funding as a sweetener for local authorities over a bitter council tax freeze row. He stood there at the conference and said, yes, we're going to have a council tax freeze. And everyone was going, are we? No one knew about that one. Where the hell did that come from? Anyway, Humza Yousaf's SNP government has tried to end the stalemate by providing a two-stage cash injection worth £62.7 million. Why two stages? Give them the money up front. You've got the cash, spend it. Splash the cash, spread the wealth. Yousaf tried to reset relations with councils last year by signing a new cooperation agreement with town hall bosses, the Verity House agreement. But the deal crashed and burned after he announced plans for a national council tax freeze over their heads. Yeah, the moment he announced that, that broke Verity House. The Verity House agreement was gone. And councils at that moment knew they couldn't deal with this government. This government weren't a government of their word. They were liars. They were people that would happily sign the agreement, go, oh, look at us, get the picture taken, sign the agreement, we're brilliant. And then when the moment it became politically expedient to break it, they just go, yeah, break it, don't care. That's what they're like. You can't trust them. His deputy, Shona Robison, had offered £147 million to councils to freeze the tax, which was nowhere near enough. But local authorities are holding out. As they say, it leaves them short. And it does. The record can reveal the government has blinked, and it brought more money to the table after high-level talks. Where does the money come from? Where are they? What budget are they pulling it from? That's the important thing. In a letter to council leaders, Finance Secretary Robison has promised to pass on £45 million as a result of the UK government's announcement on adult social care funding. So there you go. That tells you exactly where this money comes from, right? 45 million came from the UK government handing them 45 million for adult social care funding. So why weren't they counting that in? It's because that was the money for the funding, but they weren't intending to spend it on funding, were they? They were intending to spend it on other things, such as independence. That must have broken their tiny little hearts, having to spend the money where it's meant to be spent. That's not the SNP way at all. She'll also give councils an additional 17.7 million, but nobody's saying where that one came from. I reckon health. She wrote, in making the decision, we'll be allocating an additional 62.7 million to councils in Scotland for them to use as they see fit. In the context of the wide range of demands on the Scottish budget and challenges across the public sector, she said, I consider that this is a significant offer of compromise. Well, it's a bit more. It's still not really enough. But the worst of it is, first of all, the council tax freeze is not progressive. The ones who benefit are the rich, number one. Number two, that's only 1 year of council tax freeze. Now, where it's currently here, and it should have gone up to here this year, and then go up to here next year. By freezing it here, it means next year, it doesn't go up to here, it's got to go up to here where it should be. So next year, you're getting a massive rise. You're going to be looking at a 15% rise next year, all of a sudden, in a single bite. Good luck. These people really are ultimately very, very stupid. She said, it is a demonstration of our commitment to the Verity House Agreement. Your commitment to the Verity House Agreement that you signed and then almost immediately broke because Humza Yousaf is too stupid to write a decent bloody speech. And so he comes up with something on the back of a fag packet. For heaven's sake. In return for this significant compromise, I reiterate the position that the funding is conditional upon freezing on the council tax. He said, I trust this in confirmation on funding supports those councils still to make a decision on their council tax and budget setting in that process. And that the clarifications above help us to move the discussion on other matters forward in the spirit of the Verity House Agreement that we broke. There is no spirit of the Verity House Agreement. That's gone. That's dead in the water. The councils and COSLA, no, they cannot believe these people. And any claim they're going to give money will not be believed until they've physically got the money. And even then, they'll probably put conditions on it because they won't just hand it over. God help us, no. We don't want anyone just having money and spending it as they see fit. They need to micromanage. They really are the ones that put the I into micromanage, aren't they? One source said he expected any local authority waivers to now freeze the tax. I still think, even with this, there may be one or two that still raise the council tax. I mean, she was talking now, 67 plus 144 to 211 quid. 211 quid. Might as well be. 211 million. Even so, that's still not a great deal in the grand scheme of things. The provisional figures were, across Scotland, it needed to be somewhere in the region of between between a half and £1 billion. And so even with this extra money, it's still not enough. I think there'll be councils out there that will still raise. I'm willing to put a bet on that there'll be at least one council will still raise the council tax, and you can't blame them. Anyway, I shall round off there. We'll come up and we'll finish the video. It's very sneaky of them, isn't it? The 45 million that comes from the UK government. What were they really going to do with that if it wasn't to go to adult social care? They were going to have that, weren't they? They were going to push that and hide it and lose it into the Independence Fund. And now all of a sudden they've been caught out and they have to push that through. And where did the 17.7 million come from? Because that had to come from another budget as well. So who is going shy? None of them will have paid for this, any at all, out of the Independence budget. It's just sneaky, isn't it? They're just rancidly and irreversibly sneaky. And I don't think it'll be enough. And I would love to see at least one council still put their council tax up. Just to take the shine off that smug face of Humza Yousaf. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.